Welcome back to the Filbin files. As promised, I finished up my work here and cleaned up the facade here a little bit so that it looks pretty cool. I just used some of the Forge microblocks to cover that up, and of course, because there's wiring and stuff and things go wrong, I had to leave myself a way in, and left a wrench here because you never know when you need a wrench. So all of this is working fine. I finally got my my power downstairs tuned so it's delivering enough power to keep up with this, because it goes through a bit of power, especially when these things are running. But it looks pretty cool, I think, and there's room for some expansion. What I wanted to do next was, if I keep using these Fluix cables, things are gonna start connecting weird and in places I don't want them to connect and stuff like that. And so I wanted to explore a little bit about how these channels work. Device online. You can't see how many channels it's using, but there's 8 channels coming out of each side here. I wanted to explore how these channels are working, to try and optimize my space. It's like if I need to add more controllers, and how do I separate what's coming in and out of that and stuff. So, oh look, it looks like 2 wrenches, and now it looks like 1, and now it looks like 2. Interesting. Huh. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to hop over to my test world and to check power and see what sort of things we could do and could not do with the various cables that are available. So let's hop over there and see what we've got. My test world here, and let's grab a couple. I want to grab 1 Fluix. Let's grab a green, grab red. So there's various cables here, the ME cables that can be used here. Let's see if we can see them all here. And then cable, okay. And this is why I want to explore this a little bit. So you get the, let's see. Nope. Somewhere in here, I know. Okay, so here's the glass cable we were using, and it comes in different colors. Let's grab a Fluix. Let's grab, well, let's make it interesting here. Let's make it a green, move you over, and a red. You also get these smart cables, which tell you how many channels you're using across that cable. You get covered cables, and you have dense cables. Here's my initial test setup for getting things running, where I wasn't too worried about what it looked like. And I used these covered cables, and you can see the covered cables don't interact with each other. The glass cables, however, do. So if I do like Fluix, and I've got my Fluix thing going along, and then I come in and I want to run green, they still connect and they interact. Kind of interesting. So that doesn't do me much good, because then everything that's kind of interconnected still uses all of the, darn it. Oh, it's snowing. Let's turn the snow off. Turn rain off. Might as well make it morning. Okay. So, oh, this is a little experimental house I've been building. I can show you that real quick. It's going to be blue and then green, yet red, and then green, then yellow, and whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I use the covered cables, and they all connect exactly the way you want them to, and then they use the channels and such. And then you can even use these, I don't know if you can see it back there, these little cable anchors to keep things from connecting, keep the cable from connecting, so I'm not using extra channels connecting to that. One thing I did discover in this, let me show you this one. crafting interface. Oh. Okay. Come on. Yeah, terminal interface, that'll work. These things, the interfaces, the crafting terminal, oh, that's what, the terminals, I should have, take on the color of the cable they're connected to. And they do that with the regular glass cables as well, which is pretty cool. You can color coordinate things. So if you want everything that shows up in your interfaces to be pink or blue or green or yellow, you can do that. I just discovered that by accident by fiddling around with this stuff. So anyway, you've got the cables here. Now an interesting note, do I have the Fluix covered cable? The Fluix covered cable still connects to both. And what I don't know is what that does to how it distributes the channels and stuff. But the Fluix connects to everything. So the next thing I wanted to see was, does the red, like we've got the red going here, we've got a Fluix going here, and we know that the Fluix connects there. Well, the green in the glass cables doesn't connect to the red, but it does connect to the Fluix. So now I can use this to differentiate things in an easy fashion. Different channels coming off the controller. So I think that's kind of cool. So, sorry. Darn allergies. Alright, so yeah, so there's that. And it does it with the covered cables too. Now the other difference is the, let's see, cables. We have, okay, we're going to skip dense for just a second. So I've got covered cables, smart cables. So smart cables behave essentially, let's get rid of these guys, the same way. The Fluix will connect to everything and the others will stay separated. So that's a good thing. The other thing that they will do, and we're going to let's go ahead and do this side here. Sadly, it's going to knock off all of those interfaces there, but I'll just have to put them back. So let's plunk down yellow here. Pretty much the way we had it. And then we had, let's see, what did we have in there? I left my notes in my other desk. It was import or export. Here we go. Export bus. Let's throw some of these in here. Oops. One there. One there. Now, what we see is this here. Look at the tooltip. It tells us how many channels are in use. And right now it says 4 channels are in use. And I'm not sure, oh, because there's an extra bit here. That's why. Now it should say, so this says there's 1 channel being used here, 2 channels, 3 channels, and if I go all the way to the source, it says 3 channels. So this, aside from being separated, will tell us what channels are being used. How many channels, so we can, if we haven't kept track of all of this very well, we could see. Now what I'm curious about is if I connect these two up, say here, it now switches and it's using these channels up before it uses these channels. And I can, so right now we can see there's 0 of 8 channels being used here, 4 of 8 channels being used here, but I don't know how many are being used here. So if I switch this chunk out with the gray, and now we see, so these guys are saying 0 of 8 channels, 4 channels. Why are you not? Okay, so this says 1 channel is being used, so it's ignoring this connection. I guess because it's already connected to the controller? Don't know. And it's ignoring this connection and it's ignoring this connection. So I don't even need the cable anchors anymore. And then down here it says 1 channel being used, 4 channels being used. Now let's put this back like that and see if that updates the way it did. It didn't. It's not going to update the way it did before. So let's, I know that this isn't how it was set up, but we'll add some extra channels here being used. And so what I see here is 8 channels being used, and it's all bright yellow. And then I look over here, 1 channel being used, and now the question is, can I force it to use another channel going this way? This device is still offline, so it's not getting any extra channels through that connection. But if I did this, it does. So now this is using 6 channels, so there's 1 being used there. And then, let's see, so yeah, 1 being used for the coprocessor, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the system doesn't even preserve or care what color it initially connects to. So it's not like it's remembering, okay, it came out as a gray cable, it has to pop out the other end as a gray cable. So there's that. And then there's one more cable that I wanted to try out, and that's this dense cable. So let's toss these and grab dense cable. What was that? Light blue. Grab magenta, and let's grab, there's a Fluix around here somewhere. There it is. Because the Fluix just kind of ties things together. So now what I want to see is, okay, you reverted to 1 channel. Do 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 do. And now we put down dense cable. So the dense cable, so see how this looks like it connects to that, but it doesn't seem to be connecting there because I'm not, well, actually let's try and force it to use some channels. So the dense cable, click. Yeah, see, that's not even connected. So the dense cable can't be used like the regular smart cable. It's more like an extension cord. I can't connect it directly to devices. I have to use the smart cable to get the initial connection. I want to save these, so I'm just going to, so 1 smart cable, a gray smart cable, and the Fluix smart cable. Grab those. Alright. Oh, we're getting dark again. So I still have to connect my cables, but then if I want to extend them, I can connect with a dense Fluix cable. I wonder if I can connect orange to orange. What was that? Dense, Orange to orange. Let's try that. Well, the orange dense cable connects to that. That's good. And the Fluix, but the magenta will not. Okay. So the like colors will connect. Ooh, I wonder. Let's see. Orange. Nope. Find it in here somewhere again. It's orange, orange. Let's see if the orange glass cable connects to these guys. It does. Okay. So as long as the color stays the same, you can connect colors up to it. As long as the colors stay the same, you can connect the different cables up to each other. The Fluix cable connects everything, and the dense cable does not connect to actual devices. So why would I want to use the dense cable? I think I can use the dense cable something like this. Although interestingly, it looks like it connected to that for power. Maybe it'll provide power, but not actual device connectivity. And then if I want some more orange, thank you. And then will that? Oops. One there, one there, one there. Okay, so now this is telling me I've got channels going there, channels going there. So now this says I have 5 channels being used here. 5 channels being used. 5 channels being used there. No channels going this way. 4 channels in use there. 4 channels going out. So why do you think you have... Oh, 5 channels because one's going that way. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, so 5 channels coming out. 1 going that way, 4 going this way. And then 4 channels here going out. Let's see if we can force it to overload the system here. Okay, so 6 channels being used here, which means I ought to have 2 more channels that could go this way. Let's just add some devices. Those devices are coming online. I've used 6 out of 32 channels. That's using 8, so this should go up to 8. And then if I do that, so that's using 7 channels. That's using 8 channels, and this is now using 6 channels. We add 1 more here. This should go up to 7, shouldn't it? 7 channels coming out, 8 channels. Alright, let's see. 8 channels coming out, 6 channels coming out. Everything is online. 6 channels coming out, 8 channels coming out, and device missing channel. 1, 2. Okay, so I've got too many devices along here. 1. Let's see. Let's get rid of a couple here. Device missing channel, device missing channel, device online, device online. Okay, so this should have 6, 7, 8. And it still says 7 of 8 channels coming out. So I can't, doesn't seem like I can use this to aggregate because this here, see there's no, it's not sucking in any channels from that side. So if I can't use this to aggregate and spread out how I use the channels, because it's getting 8 from there and it's only pushing 7 out. And it should be grabbing a couple channels from there. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not real sure what good the dense cables are. I mean, it claims to do 32 channels, which would be 4 sides of my controller. But if I can't aggregate, then what's the point? Let's, maybe if I do, I've got gray smart cable, orange. Let's, which way? Let's see, we'll get smart cable, and let's get a nice blue here. Okay, so let's add some blue here that won't mix and match with anything else, and see if we can't get it to use a couple more channels and see where it comes from. So device online, but it didn't grab that channel. It's at the expense of, yep. So missing channel, device online. So it's at the expense of, yeah, see, every time I add a device here, it takes it away from this. And it's not getting it from here. So this isn't acting as an aggregator. I may have to do some research to see what the point is for having a dense cable. Because if you can only get 8 channels out, or heck, in this case, it's really only giving me 7 channels out. 2 are going there and 5 are going there. So I'm only getting 7 channels out because one of the channels is... So if I can only get that many channels out, what's the point? And you don't connect there at all. You just grabbed a couple more from 6 channels in use. Wait. Device online. Missing channel. Is that the key? Does the initial connection need to be... Does the initial connection need to be on the dense cable? 17 channels. 1 channel. 11. Device online, device online, device online, device online, device on... Aha! So the initial connection needs to be the dense cable. Haha, okay. So now I should have up to 16 devices I can put on here, which means if I add this one, it's going to go online, and then if I add this one, it's going to go online at the expense of something else. This one. No, not that one. It says device online, 1 channel, device online, device online. Somewhere around here there's an offline device. 3 channels. What's offline? Online? So how am I getting, where am I getting 19? Okay, so we've gone from 16, oh wait. So that, does that mean that, okay, if this has got, I'm only using 2 connections. 2 connections times 8, 16. Which means I am now pulling 3 more channels out of this than this would normally allow. Will that dense connection allow me to grab more? Let's add some, I've got Fluix here. Let's go Fluix here. Add another device. Add another device until this blue one is filled up. Okay, so you're pulling 8 channels through there, and now we're up to 22. Woohoo! Okay. Let's get rid of this connection here real quick and see how many we're pulling from just the single connection. Alright, so that's what's going on. This here allows you to pull more than 8 channels out of that box with one connection. Haha, okay. I like that. So I can add a whole bunch of devices here, and man, I've really messed up my test setup here. But that will let me pull all sorts of channels. Yeah, okay. Out of this, and then each connection to this, you have 8 cables coming out. Okay, so well, these recipes are probably going to be a pain in the butt. So let's go see what the recipes are like. But that means that you connect your controller up with the dense cable, and then you run your dense cable around to the various places you need it to be, and then you split it out with your colored cables, and on the smart cables or the glass or what have you, or the glass, smart, or covered, 3 choices, to get your various chunks of things that are going. Alright. Haha. Okay, so let's go back to the real world and see what these recipes look like. Let's see what these recipes look like. So, we need dense cables. Alright, light blue is dense cable and, okay, something to color it. Fair enough. And so, let's see. We need to make, well, yeah, let's back up here. So we need to make the Fluix first, and the Fluix is covered cable, redstone, glowstone, or dense Fluix ME dense cable, Fluix, and water. I don't get it. It's even the same part number. You can craft dense cable by making dense cable plus water. That makes no sense. Alright, anyway. So, maybe you just need, maybe it's a cleaner cable. So, to get that, we need these. So we need covered cables. And covered cables are glass and any kind of wool. And there's that weird recipe again. Covered cable gives you colored cable plus water gives you colored cable. Seems like a great way to waste water buckets. Okay, and then the glass cable we know is the quartz fiber and crystals, Fluix crystals of some sort, and the glass fiber is just glass and Certus quartz. So that is something we can do. Oh, leftover from when I was putting the... So I think... I'm not going to do this on camera, but I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this up with my planned setup where I have dense cable coming out and then hopping over a little bit, colored cables connecting all of that, dense cable going this way, colored cables connecting all of that, and start breaking these things up by colors. So I can have I can essentially have an extension cord of dense cable cruising along here, connecting these various bits. And then, that will allow me to continue to expand. I need to move that upstairs too. So then I can have controllers and stuff. I can have more controllers and I can have stuff going all the way around that way and that way. So, with that, I'm gonna pause the recording here and do some work on that. Alright, be right back. Low on some resources. I think I'm gonna have to spend some time just mining instead of building things. But had to go get some redstone. Managed to find myself some yellorite ore. We need to throw that in a pulverizer so we can have more fuel. Let's see, what else did we get? Chest plate. I don't care about the chest plate. We'll just toss it over here. Got some coal, and then we can do there. So I tried this with I made these with red wool. I think I still... No, was it? No, I used up all my wool. That's what it was. Yeah, made them with red wool, and it just makes this regular Fluix. So I guess the color just kind of goes away until you actually do the color again. So let's see. So I've got 5. So I don't have enough to... 5 dents, so I don't have enough to actually color it, because I need 8. However, I can start to connect this stuff up like so. And if I... that should force those channels to start getting used that way. And then disconnect that. And now I've got 12 channels in use, and this thing is still happy. And everything over here, let's see, blue lights everywhere. Perfect. Okay, and I'll start adding these to be colored cables, so that colored or covered or both, I don't know, so that I can have another chunk of hardware sitting over here and another chunk sitting over here, and just some stuff poking out the facade there. So there we go. I know I learned a lot about how the cables were working, and I feel like I learned it faster than I would have just by reading it. I've been trying to read some of these things, and just a little confusing, conflicting information, trying to make sure you're reading the right version or whatever. So there we go. Not much cosmetic change, but a little bit of learning about those cables. I'm happy. Hope you're happy too, and I will see you next time on the Filbin Files. Take care. Bye-bye.